There's a lot to cover in this video, including the Dragon Prince Season 5 trailer, 2 special season teasers found on Netflix, and 2 official promotional posters. This video will be slightly different to usual, 1 because there's a lot to cover all at once, and 2 because I'm really tired after making my 30-minute video essay on Gwen, which I loved, don't get me wrong, but making an entire video like the day after I finished that is a little intense. So instead, I've gone through everything and I'm only going to focus on the shots that have something truly of value to say. I'll do a very quick run through after some of the more important stuff, but it won't be anywhere near as in-depth as my usual shot-for-shot analysis you might be used to. Hi, I'm Adrian from EmberNexus, and with all of that out of the way, let's get into it. Most significantly, I want to start with the Bloodmoon Huntress. We get very little screen time with her, and I have to admit I haven't exactly gotten around to reading the novel, even though I have it. However, she's a Moonshadow elf who's tampered with forbidden magic in order to live longer. She does this by consuming the blood of living creatures, that includes elves and humans. She's a force to be reckoned with, and I can't wait to see some of these fight scenes. She'll definitely put up a good fight against our protagonist, and probably even cause some issues for the antagonist with how power hungry she is. Seeing her with these Sunfire Elves makes me think we might see a bit of her when Rayla and the gang go to the Luxaria library. If you'd like to know more about her, Real James just did a great video on her which you can check out in the description or in the top right. Nicely linked to the Bloodmoon Huntress, we have this wolf or bear-like animal. Originally, I was inclined to say it was maybe possessed by her, but after further thought and review of other shots, I don't think so as much anymore. The biggest reason behind that being the dark smoky trails leaving its body. That would in my opinion indicate more of a dark magic vibe. But with this red glow on its underside and its eyes, I am inclined to not fully withdraw saying that she has some kind of involvement with it. If you remember the stargazing clip from a few weeks ago, which you can check out a full analysis on my channel, there was a horse and shadow paw Callum and Rayla had used to get to their campsite. In one of the Netflix teasers we see this wolf creature chasing after them, except the horse is missing and they're both riding on the shadow paw. A moment of silence for Callum's dead horse, please. Aw, Callum's holding on to Rayla. Anyway, now Callum's taken over steering whilst Rayla deals with this thing. Watching these clips as much as I do for the channel, I've noticed something I don't think many people will have picked up on. She draws back a metal-tipped arrow, and then in the next shot, it's changed to red. Hold on, that's not how continuity works. In my mind, there is only one possibility. Let me explain. She's probably taken multiple shots at this creature, and we didn't see all of them in this cut-up version. The red-tipped one is probably her last shot because it looks fancy and special. And then to second that, right near the very end of the same teaser, we see the same creature in the Sunfire Elves library, which we'll come to next. What's important about the one here though is the only discernible difference between the two is that one of the normal tipped arrows can be seen stuck inside it, which might sound counterintuitive, but if that red tipped arrow is special, we can assume that it would be the finisher. Okay, I hear you saying, but if the regular arrows don't do anything, then why is it stuck in its body? Ah, see. In the trailer, Callum combines a spell with one of Rayla's arrows and it becomes infused with it, making it strong enough to penetrate whatever this creature is made out of. So does that mean I'm suggesting there's more than one? Yes, precisely. At the end of that same teaser from before, we see Zubeia drop 3 creatures over what looks like the same library in the Sunfire Elves Kingdom, as given by the sun at the front and the circular architecture. And also, when Amaya, Rayla and Callum prep for the fight, the camera orbits around them all looking in different directions, therefore giving them one each that they need to tackle. Alright, so there's a lot of mentioning about this fight, but we need to actually talk about it. I used to be very confused about where it took place, I'll be completely honest. Originally, I believe it took place underwater because of the blue and the other teaser images that were released alongside it, but I can almost prove for certain that it's not. The first part of evidence being a bit of what I mentioned before with the circular looking building above ground in Luxaria, and it wouldn't make much sense for water to be there. Not to mention the same flowers that can be seen between the 2 locations indicating the same place. Secondly, it's obviously a different place to where Callum and Rayla presumably jump down into water as their surroundings look rather different. Before we move on to the posters, I have some short general stuff that didn't really deserve their own sections. At the coast, Claudia performs a powerful spell using a squid, potentially putting her into another world for a little bit to perform intense dark magic. The gang has headed back to the castle, probably near the beginning of the season, where we maybe see Rayla in Callum's bedroom. Yeah. Firena's having a dark magic episode similar to that of Callum's drowning sequence in season 2. Rayla shared the coins with Callum. Ezran asked Tina where they can find a Kiyu.
Can you help us find a Kiyu?
A Kiyu was a powerful tidebound elf archmage and is likely who we see here in this flashback story Zubeia tells in season 4. Tina seems more than willing to do so, but asks who she should introduce them as, hinting at the fact that she probably doesn't take visitors too often. We see some amazing new creatures by the shore, and I think these birds are going to be vital to some plot point, perhaps even relating to the Lost poster we'll cover in just a second. Maybe they take something important from the group. Callum fights off pirates who we saw in an earlier shot and a teaser picture. Sol Regum is making some kind of agreement with Karim, likely because he hates the idea of elves and humans working together and wants to help put an end to it. Across the trailer and teasers, we see multiple shots of Domina rising out of the water after the beacon call for aid was made, which we saw the beginning of in another clip. Nyx is here, which I'm super happy about, and I imagine her interactions with Rayla and Callum are going to be pretty funny.
Gets really cold here at night, so we'll need these. I wasn't sure if you guys needed 2 blankets or just 1.
2. Yeah, 2. Cause if there was just 1, then 2.
We again see these vulture birds. This time they've grabbed something and they're likely dangerous, not just from them trying to peck the gang earlier, but Rayla defends Ezra pretty quickly too. Claudia does some water bending and goes full dark mage, the latter I think is in Viren's dream sequence. Tina summons a spear, and I think I now know why Rayla was yelling at Callum in this teaser picture. We see Rayla and Callum underground jumping into water as told by the caustics on the back wall. This location looks awfully similar to the one in the screenshot, so my guess is Rayla's telling him she doesn't want to go into the water, but after he takes her hand she's willing to do so, at least a little bit more than she was. Ezra takes a zipline carrying a chest into a dock area with Zim, which I can't wait to see more of, it looks amazing. And lastly for this section, Claudia releases a serpent spell of some description, maybe to grab something rather than attack. Next up we have 2 promotional posters. I really like them both and the art style is beautiful. I will admit I like the End Found version more than Lost, but it makes this season look a lot more mature than the previous ones, which have been more bright and joyful. Immediately, based on the names of the posters, I'm thinking our protagonists have lost someone, as in to a fight. Or maybe they've lost the race to aaravos, since the other poster insinuates the antagonist finding something earlier than the others. The protagonists also have their own dealings this season. Rayla has the coins in her relationship with Callum. Ezra is still running an entire kingdom. Callum is also mending his relationship with Rayla, and to me feels as if he's at constant risk of being possessed by aaravos after what happened last season. So does all of this mean they get lost within themselves, their own doings rather than the main problem? Viren's direction in the poster alongside some of the other scenes shown in the trailer and teasers makes me think he's going to be trying to pull away from the darker side this season. We saw this a little bit near the start of season 4, but Claudia encouraged him back into taking this path. It also potentially hints at his irrelevance as Claudia likely surpasses him in power and she takes charge. This would also mean aaravos disposes of him as he has no real need for Viren, and he was only a pawn aaravos need to use to gain a stronger piece. That's all I really want to say, but Real James and the Cov both have some great videos covering stuff I've spoken about that go a little more in depth than what I was able to do because of my time constraint, so I'll leave some links down below to some videos I recommend. A big thank you for watching, and to my patrons, please let me know what you thought of this style of video. I don't think I'd choose to do it again compared to my regular in-depth scene-by-scene analysis, but I'd be interested to hear. But anyway, I really do hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.